Back in the day, and when I say back in the day, I mean just even 30 years ago, there was a social stigma against single mothers. There was a social stigma against kids who came out of the woodlock without a father. We would call them the B word, right? uh, there would be, and nowadays we praise single mothers. We praise kids from broken families, kids who grew up without fathers. And we always shame the father. Oh, that kid didn't have a father, or the mother is a single mother because of the dad. The mother is being praised while the dad's being shit on. And then, back in the days, it would always be the woman's fault, and nowadays it's always the man's fault if the relationship didn't work out. Now, there's wrong in both scenarios. Yes, you cannot always blame one party or the other. You have to look at the case and see what actually happened. And if you want me to generalize something, I'll generalize and blame both of the parents, both the parents, the mom and the dad, for things to not work out, because it takes two for relationships to start. If you wanted me to generalize it instead of looking case by case, yes, that would be my generalization in all over the history, right? Even back in the days, even nowadays. Back in the days, women who slept around was frowned upon. Women who were obese were frowned upon. There was a social stigma against these type of women. Now, we're praising them. Back in the days when a man was weak mentally, he was being laughed at. Bullying was a very common thing for the weak, towards the weak. Nowadays, everybody gets a participation trophy. There's no such thing as strong or weak even anymore. Nowadays, we get laughed at because we're strong. Nowadays, the weak get a prize because they're the victim. Now, victims get trophies, and winners get laughed at. Everything is going on reverse, and we're going backwards nowadays. Nowadays, our kids are being encouraged to accept the LGBTQW, whatever other alphabets you want to throw in their lifestyle. They're being encouraged to go against their biological natural imperatives. They're being shamed because they have the desire, the natural desire, and the want to sleep with the hot girl, or to flirt with a girl, or to ask her out on a date. That's against the current social structures narrative. I mean, Gillette even came out with a whole commercial talking trash on its number one consumer, which are men. But hey, they paid for their action, right? They paid the price for that already. I stopped using Gillette products a while ago, not because of that, but I just didn't want to shave that much anymore. I trim my beard and all my hair now. But just a little bit of grooming lesson for you guys. Don't tell me I don't give you advice on everything, okay? But fellas, oh, who's that? Don't hit me, please. This is why we need to bring back shame. Because clearly what has happened, clearly all the reversal of all these things that used to be normal are not working out. How do I know that? Our women are becoming men and our men are becoming women. Single motherhood is rising. By the day, by the minute, as we speak right now, obesity is rising. Suicide rates, ending yourself rates, rising. Divorce rates skyrocketing. Depression rates skyrocketing. Do your own research on these, okay? Get the stats for yourself, because don't come in here and say, show me the stats, how is it rising? Do you really? First of all, how stupid or how big of a rock do you have to live under for the past 10 years to even ask that question? That people are more depressed and more unhappy now. than they were before we had all this technology. Everybody knows that. Even a kid who's 12 years old knows that. Because that's what he's experiencing, he or she is experiencing in his life. But then when middle school hits and that chick becomes 14, from 12 to 14, now puberty hits her, or whenever puberty hits her, now she starts getting more and more attention. But that boy, he's still being neglected. Even at that early age, and everybody knows it, and nobody is saying anything about it. This is an open secret. Everybody knows it, but everybody is still being hushed to say anything about it. Funny how that works, right? I mean, that's mainly why this Red Pill community, this manosphere started. Because we were sick and tired of taking this crap from women. Nowadays, we see overweight, obese women are the model magazines. Or magazine models, right? How the hell is a 200-pound overweight chick healthy and being able to put herself on the front cover of a magazine? That is unheard of. Like, I don't understand. Like, you guys say this body positivity, loving yourself. How are you loving yourself? Explain that to me. How is obesity loving yourself? Because it's detrimental to your health. I didn't make that up. Go ask a doctor. Cholesterol level goes up, heart conditions go up, all sorts of other diseases come in. You're telling me that's healthy? How does, like, so are we redefining what health, what being healthy means now too? Is that going backwards too? Are we now, and then a few years down the road, are we going to be saying that, oh, okay, it's a good thing to die from obesity. At least you lived happy and how you wanted to live, and at least you died happy. Is that what we're going to start calling it now? Is that where we're heading? Give me a goddamn break, man. This is a shit show, a circus that's happening in our society today. But my question is, how many of us are they going to stop? See, it was us men who they took that power away from 60 years ago. And if we really want to make a change, it's us men who's going to make that change. It's us men who's going to come up with that power again. Women came out on the streets to march for feminism. What the hell are we doing? Staying behind our phone screens and firing out comments on everybody's comment section and bitching, moaning, and crying about it, how our life sucks, how women don't want us? Is that going to give you a solution? Really? Is that what you think is going to help you out? Women put things into work. We men just sit there and talk nowadays. That's what I meant when I said we're becoming more like women. We are the ones who are becoming gossipers now. So we need to stop that, fellas. First of all, before we even get to that point of going marching down the road and trying to create a change, going down to the White House, before we even start any of that stuff, at least start changing your own self first. At least become courageous and bold. Courage is not being able to be afraid. Courage is being able to be afraid but still getting the work done, but still stepping up to it. That's what courage means. You don't think MMA fighters, boxers are not scared before they go into the ring, are not nervous? Hell yeah, they are. Some of these players, some of these athletes throw up before their fight in the locker room, but they still go out and take care of business. So we need the traits, the individual traits, the characteristics first of a man in ourselves before we can even think about going out and trying to do any of that stuff. Rioting or any of that, right? Don't come in here and say, oh, Zeekpeak told me to go out and riot. No, I'm not promoting violence. I'm not promoting any of that. The time to go and riot, the time to go out and march against feminism or any of that has not come yet. When still, by the buttload, every single year, we're producing nothing but pussified men. So men have to be strong first. I don't even think we even need to riot or march against feminism if we men just become strong within ourselves first. Because then by default, automatically, we're gonna hold women accountable for their actions and for their fuckery and bullshit. But if we're not strong internally, then no amount of marching and rioting is gonna help anyways. Women are still gonna be able to manipulate us if we're not internally strong. We can have all the artillery in the world, all the manpower, all the gunpowder, but if we're not internally strong, women will always manipulate us and have the power over us. Because women know that the number one way how to win against us is through manipulation. Because they are physically weaker than us. So obviously physically they cannot win any kind of fight against us. So how do they do it? By sexual manipulation. Because they know we would do anything, go above and beyond, just to get a sniff of that funky ass vagina. That's it. They know that. And that's the number one weapon that they possess, even to this day, as we speak right now, against us. And we're not doing jack shit about it. We're letting them walk all over us, and instead of shaming them and trying to create a change in the society, we're shaming the men who are speaking against us, or speaking against this. Men like me and other reptile content creators. We're the one who's being shamed, right? But this is what we need to bring back: shame. We need to bring back that social stigma. Because that social stigma, that social structure made sense and it worked for hundreds of thousands of years. But now that we have changed the social structure, now is when we're running into multiple amount of problems. And I already named a bunch of them earlier in the video. So clearly this new structure is not working. That's why we need to bring the old one back. Unless you have a complete different solution of a social structure yourself, then let me know in the comment section below. What do you suggest? As a woman or a man? Let me know. I'm really interested in hearing that. I don't want to reinvent the wheel. So whatever worked, let's bring that back. But that can't happen unless men are strong. See, the government or the Marxist, whatever you want to believe in, capitalist, whatever political side you want to go on, they knew that if the nuclear family is broken, if the father is taken from the family, they knew that would be the end of society. That they knew that's when they would be able to control everybody, when you create sexual degeneracy. Right? They knew that. And that's why we're being sexually liberated, and we're trying to make it seem like, oh, we're being free. No, we're not. We're still slaves to our desires to sleep around more and more. And yeah, that goes with men as well. That's why I myself got off a Tinder. That's why I myself stopped hooking up as much. I still gotta take care of my physical needs every now and then, but it's way, way, way less than what it used to be. I don't even hit on girls as much anymore because I value myself and my time. So if she's not even giving me the time of the day, why would I cold approach her? If she's not giving me any kind of warmth, choosing signals, whatever you want to call it, why would I even cold approach her? Because that's just the type of energy you radiate when you cold approach and when you live on that bottom level of energy, of just hooking up randomly and doing it for years and years and years. That energy eats you up from inside, man. I'm here to tell you. I've been there, done that. That's how I know. You become more depressed than ever. I thought that would have given me happiness, but I was the worst depressed stage in my life when I was sleeping with 50 women a year. Yeah, these women weren't all dimes or 8s, 9s, and 10s. They were 4s, 5s, 6s, and 7s, 8s, 9s, and 10s. But that's besides the point. Because I know some asshole is going to come in here and feel bad about himself, even after I just said all of this, and think that he has no worth because Zeke is sleeping around with 51, but I'm not being able to. Who the fuck cares? See, you guys have to stop. You guys have to stop valuing yourself based on how many women you get. That's not what brings value to a man's life. That's not what gives a man value. That's the byproduct of his value. I took care of my body. I had a great body. And because of that byproduct, I got women. It's that simple. So my value was not because I got women. My value was what I actually possessed. Because I didn't possess any of these chicks. None of them were mine. It was just my turn with them. That's it. So fellas, we have to start shaming women and men too. Overweight women, yeah, you're fat. Go lose your weight. Oh yes, you're a slut. I don't want you. Yes, you are a damaged good. I don't want you. You're a single mother. I don't want you. We have to start shaming people because of this. Because only then they have an incentive, especially women. They don't want to be socially isolated because they're social creatures. They're groupies. So when women see that society is backfiring at their bad choices, instead of praising them, that men are actually leaving them alone and they're not actually wanting these damaged goods anymore, then women are going to have an incentive to make better decisions. Until then, no. The market determines the price of something, of the good. So when the market itself is saying that yes, these single mothers and all these other products, obese women, sluts, are highly desirable by men, then obviously the products, aka these women, are not gonna bring down their price. Supply and demand 101. This is not a hate speech. This is not trying to create violence, trying to be violent out here. This is just showing you strategic logic here, why we need to bring back shame. Why wouldn't we? Have you thought about how disgusting it sounds that the mother of your children have been a former cockhopper? Have had 5, 10, 15 different cocks coming in inside of her. In and out, busting all sorts of gallons and gallons of nuts on her body, on her face, in her nose, in her eyes, wherever it went in. You don't know her past. And now you want that to raise your children? How grotesquely gross does that sound? How unhealthy does that sound if a fat, overweight, butterball turkey looking ass bitch starts raising your kids? What's your kids gonna turn out then? You want to give your kids that kind of lifestyle? You wanna bless your kids with the genetics, with good genetics, not shitty genetics, and not shitty genetics by procreating with these land whales. It's time we do something different instead of what we're brainwashed to do. The choice is yours, fellas. Follow me on Instagram at Zeekpeak. Like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, stay blessed, stay beautiful, and above all, stay classy.